So today, we're saying goodbye to this kitchen here. Why don't you beam me into the new one? All right, welcome. Make yourself comfortable. This is a new kitchen. And I think it's time for a little bit of a life update. I haven't done one of these in a long while, not since September 2021. This is it. This is the new kitchen. The new kitchen. A bunch has changed since then. My life has altered, been tweaked a little bit. For starters, I only had 30,000 subscribers at the time. Now I have more. And well, yeah, we have this new kitchen, so let's take a seat and talk about it. I almost tripped. Now, when I was a child, when I started making this show, I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. It was just kind of like I had high hopes for myself that something was gonna pan out. I wasn't really sure what, and I was kind of hoping that Anti-Chef would. Hello, I'm Jamie Tracy, and welcome to Anti-Chef, the very first episode. It was like a hope and a prayer, because also it was like a big ask. Who's gonna watch a cooking show about a dude that can't really, well, he doesn't know how to cook. You know, it's a tall order. And then people started watching. I mean, it took a long time. There's a lot of years in between when I started and where I am now. But then people started watching. And it's amazing. Like, it's life-changing stuff. I can't believe it that this many people watch me each week. It's crazy. And I'm just in like cruise control, just keeping at it. Hope I do a good job. We're coming up on the 7-year anniversary in October, November-ish, where that will be the anniversary of me putting the cameras into the kitchen and then filming myself learn a recipe and try to figure out how to cook. I totally forgot about the basil infused olive oil. I know that you have to like marinate it. So quick like a bunny, I'm gonna try to make now while I have a little bit of time. Since I started making this show, I've lived in 4 different countries. I started in Canada, then moved to Belgium, then to London, England until the pandemic hit, and then I moved to Canada briefly, temporarily, and then to where I am now in New York, Manhattan. You've seen me in 5 different kitchens now cooking. And the point with the kitchens is that, you know, it's always been my home. Like, it's my shared kitchen with my wife, Christy, who you know, not as well as I know her, but you know of her. And so we've been like doing this kitchen share situation since Anti-Chef day 1. So yeah, like nearly 7 years, home life, YouTube. And we've been living in cities. Like I said, we're in New York right now, so you know, we don't have the most space in the world. We've mostly just been living in like 1-bedroom apartments for all of this. And you know, you get a bedroom, a bathroom, living room, and a kitchen. And you know, we make it work because she has a job too. And since the pandemic, she splits her time between working from home and working at the office, like so many people do now. So when she goes to the office a couple days a week, that's when I start cooking. Okay, I'm over here now. I flipped the camera. Yeah, I can do that now. But this is how it goes. On a typical like filming day, Christy goes out the door to work. I go into the little closet area and find all these lights and the cameras. I set them all up around, I want to say the kitchen, but it's basically just taking up the entire apartment area. And then all the food that I have bought for these recipes, like that's off to the side, mise en place off to the side. Anything that's not supposed to be in front of the camera, like that is in the kitchen, like personal stuff, off to the side. And just anything else off to the side. And for the foreseeable future, while I'm filming, I have made the entire apartment unlivable. And then I'll start filming. I'm cooking and talking to myself for 2 straight days. Like that's my window of filming. I try to get like 2 recipes done, but it doesn't always pan out that way because mistakes can happen, or I'll just pick something that takes way too long, or like the cage match videos, those can take like 2, 3, sometimes 4 days of filming to get it done. And when I'm filming, it's like, I'm all in, I'm committed. I want like a finished dish by the end of this video. So however long that takes, I'll get it done. Except for once with the Marco Pure White recipe, whatever the hell that was, I didn't get that one done. So I have to live with that. But I'm okay. I'm healing. I'm getting better. So of course, with like some of these Michelin star dishes I've been making, Julia Child recipes, you use every dish in the kitchen. Everything that's available has been used. And there's a big mess that's awaiting once I'm done cooking. So that can take a couple hours, upwards to, once it took like half a day to like 3/4 of a day once, just to like get everything tidied up and like back to what it once was before I was filming. So there's a whole method to the madness. Now, we reached a bit of an inflection point with this show recently. One of those classic everything that could go wrong, went wrong videos. I was making a ham pitivier. It's a puff pastry recipe from Julia Child. I was looking for a shoe-in win, like something that, because I've made puff pastry so many times that I thought that I could get this one done successfully in a shorter amount of time than usual. Because the thing with YouTube is that I'm always behind. Like I finish a video, a couple minutes later I post it on YouTube, and then I move on to the next one. So I was looking for something easier. If there's any indication of how things went, 37-minute video. That's how long it was for a puff pastry. Generally, videos on my channel, the longer they are, the more struggles I endure. From choosing the wrong type of butter to use, to just kind of like all my training kind of going out the window at times. So it was a lot of like getting my hands dirty, figuring out how to get out of this one, troubleshooting it. The other thing is I'm like aligning my schedule of filming with when Christy's gonna come home from work. And we both work late, so she's coming home 11 p.m., midnight. If things aren't going my way with a recipe, I'll typically like shoot her a text or something like that. It's just, heads up, you're coming home to something very special. Just giving you a warning. I didn't do that this day. And I was on puff pastry attempt number 2. Both were failures, and they were like exploding in my hands. Puff pastry just disintegrating. And there's pastry on the floor, on the counter, all over me. And I was hot and butter was sticking to my arm, hair. And I was pissed off and frustrated. Christy comes in the door and she sees this right here. She comes home and she just like walks into the kitchen. Just like we look at each other and there's just kind of like a mutual like,
what happened?
Like, this isn't normal. This is kind of, something needs to change here. And I think I've outstayed my welcome filming this show in my own kitchen. That's what I was thinking. The show's getting bigger, there's more eyeballs watching it, the recipes are becoming more challenging, there's like higher stakes, at least that's what it feels like to me. I have a cage match series that is bigger and longer to make also. Long story, very short, it was no longer possible for me to make the show in my home, no more. Fanny Farmer. I should clarify something so I don't get a divorce. Don't want that. Also, what do you think of my couch? It's on back order. It may come across like I'm not painting Christy in a positive light.
What happened?
And that couldn't be further from the truth. She's the most supportive person when it comes to anti-chef. I can't do this without her. Seriously. I mean, this was her idea. Anti-chef. Christy.
Yes.
As you know, I stink in the kitchen. Well, I'm not that bad. I just don't really put in that effort.
Right.
She's the one that said, you really suck at cooking, and it would be funny if you filmed yourself. And I took her up on that.
I just would never serve those, really. Sorry.
Don't be sorry, they suck. All right. This is a fail. This is a fail.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to find something good to say. You tried.
She's giving me all the support a man needs to film himself in his kitchen for 6.5+ years. I mean, that's not really a normal thing to do. Maybe it is nowadays with the dawn of the internet, but it hasn't always been a normal thing to do. I mean, she's right there with it. She's in those messes with me. She's giving me ideas and offering her advice and watching the videos, and I'm gonna tear up. No, I'm not. I'm okay. I'm cool.
What happened?
So what I've been doing is saving, like what I earn on YouTube and Patreon. Shout out to my peoples over on Patreon. I love you. And the sponsorships that are in my videos from time to time. Like all of that, I save, and now I'm putting into this. And I got myself a studio. It's a terrible place to announce that. So that's better, right. So I got my own studio that I wear my flip-flops in. It's the house rules to wear flip-flops in studio. I got my own studio. It's always been a dream of mine just to have my own place to make videos. And it's in New York City. It's like, this is, you know, if I tell 17-year-old Jamie who wanted to be a filmmaker, you're gonna have your own filming studio in the Big Apple. You can do whatever you want. And then he'd say, well, what's the catch? And I say, well, you have to cook. And he says, I hate cooking. I say, tough luck. Anyway, you wanna come a bit closer? I got one more thing to share. Many of you actually picked up on this one from the previous video. Dropped a huge Easter egg at the end of the tuna pizza episode. Would you like a slice?
Like raw tuna?
Mm-hmm. You probably shouldn't. Christy and I are having a baby. A little dude, a little guy. There he is. Look how cute he is. And with his alien eyes and everything. I'm very excited, exciting stuff. Further reason why we needed to take this one-man act, get it out of our home. We're expanding our family. And we need the space. So yeah, it's new kitchen studio, we're having a baby. Any other tricks up my sleeve? I think you're up to date. So how about that? You're in the far corner of the kitchen on top of the toaster. How does that feel? I think, why don't we go for a full tour here? I'll show you everything that's going on, mostly. So the trash can left over from the previous tenant, but here is the bar cart. We got the booze on the top, coffee stuff on the bottom, and then what's going on in the fridge, you ask? Not a whole lot. Yeah, it's like a work in progress in here. Like we got eggs and butter for days. Yep. Is that 2 jars of maraschino cherries? It is, yes. Police. It's the baking stuff. So I just kind of threw everything in here right now because baking is my nemesis. But yeah, pie dishes, cake pans, all that kind of stuff. Piping bag stuff. Have a good day. We're still got the gas stove. We all know this kind of oven, right? Nothing new here. Well, I've never seen this before. Typically, any oven I've ever owned, this bottom drawer is for storage, but not this one. It's the broiler. I got our cooking utensils over here, all the goodies. Even Chuck made the trip, but everything else, for the most part, is brand new. Well, not the pizza spatula, that's old too. And we got a new kid in town, wiener dog spatula. Christy got that as a housewarming for me. Love it. This bottom drawer, I'm keeping my knives until I get a knife block. And then the rest of this stuff, just typical drawers where you just throw everything. So these 2 closets here, that's Julia.
This is Julia, child. Bon appetit.
But these 2 closets here are just kind of like, how do I have all this stuff? Accumulating stuff throughout the years and then buying new stuff for this place, and just like, it kind of all adds up. Like, you don't really know how much stuff you have until you put it in a big old closet like this. And all of a sudden you have this. A lot of this right here is all made in cookware, and that's all possible from my sponsorship with them. So I mean, holy hell. Love you. And then more stuff over here with the bowls and the granny mixer and Millhouse, right? There's a name for everyone. Chromio, and just like, look at this collection of kitchen stuff. And it's pretty rad that I'm able to just like go from the kitchen to here to grab whatever I need. I don't know why I grabbed the toothpicks. If you need toothpicks, here we are. Like I said, a couch going over there. Here's the editing desk. Got a desk chair coming for that soon. What's up, Paul? So on the windowsill, I've been building this cookbook collection for the past few years. I know you. Repurposed Charlotte mold. So I started with no cookbooks, and now I have, but it all started with this one right here. This is the British version of Mastering the Art of French Cooking. I have now retired this version, but it all started with this. My plan is to cook from a number of those cookbooks and a number from those books, and then continue to build on the collection also. Whoa, is that Manhattan? That's cool. I want to say thank you to all of you, each and every single last one of you, boop, for watching this, for subscribing, and for the comments I get each video. The comments are insane. And the likes, the dislikes, if you want to dislike, but all of it, the Patreon supporters too, my crew over there, all of it. It helps keep this going, and the lights on and the flame on. It keeps it all going, and I don't take it lightly. I'm like, this is like a dream come true for me. I've always wanted to make videos since I was a kid. I have the proof. On top of that, I'm learning how to cook, and I've fallen in love with cooking and the process with all of this. So, the only thing left to do oh yeah. Anti-Chef Studios is now open for business. I'm done talking about myself now. How you doing?